Think about the world you know. It is a world of surfaces, of things we can touch and see, a world of solid ground, of clear boundaries between one thing and another. But fungi challenge these ideas. They live in the spaces between, in the world of the invisible. They are masters of transformation, turning death back into life. A fallen log in the forest is not an end. For fungi, it is a beginning. It is a feast, a universe of possibility. They dive deep into its woody heart, their thread-like bodies dissolving the tough fibers, unlocking the nutrients stored within. This process is a kind of magic. It is a quiet, patient alchemy that happens all around us. Without fungi, our world would be a very different place. Forests would choke on their own debris. Dead leaves and fallen trees would pile up, their precious resources locked away forever. Life would grind to a halt. Fungi are the great recyclers, the gatekeepers of life's essential cycles. They ensure that nothing is wasted, that every ending is also a new beginning. They are the silent, unsung heroes that keep the great wheel of life turning, season after season. But their world is not just one of decay, it is also a world of incredible creation. From these hidden networks spring forth the most fantastic shapes and colors imaginable. The mushroom, the part of the fungus we can see, is just the fruit. It is a temporary structure built for a single purpose, to spread its spores and begin the cycle anew. These fruiting bodies can look like delicate corals from a lost ocean, or bright orange shells clinging to a tree trunk. They can be tiny, almost invisible, or large and imposing. They are nature's sculptures, brief and beautiful glimpses into the vastness below. So we are offered an invitation to look closer, to see beyond the obvious and peer into the shadows. Fungi ask us to question what it means to be an individual, as their networks blur the lines between self and other. They ask us to reconsider our notions of intelligence, as their decentralized bodies solve complex problems without a brain. They invite us into a world that is fluid, interconnected, and mysterious. Are you ready to accept? Are you ready to explore the world that thrives just beyond the edge of our sight? For a long time we didn't know where to place fungi. Were they plants? They grow from the soil after all, but they do not photosynthesize. They do not get their energy from the sun. In fact, they breathe oxygen just like we do. Were they animals then? They seem to hunt for their food, breaking it down externally before absorbing it. The truth is, they are neither. Fungi belong to a kingdom all their own, a branch of life as different from plants as we are from them. Genetically, they are actually closer to animals than they are to plants. This unique position in the tree of life gives them extraordinary abilities. They are chemical wizards capable of producing a dazzling array of compounds. Some of these compounds are poisons, designed to protect their food from competitors. Others are powerful medicines like penicillin, which revolutionized human health. Some can break down the most stubborn materials on Earth, from crude oil to plastics, and some can even alter consciousness, changing the way our own brains perceive reality. The fungal kingdom is a chemical library of unbelievable scale and diversity. Their way of being is fundamentally different from ours. We are singular, contained bodies. A fungus is a sprawling, networked process. It is a verb more than a noun. It is constantly exploring, growing, connecting, and changing. Its body, the mycelium, is a dynamic system that can reroute and reorganize itself in response to its environment. It has no central command center, no brain telling it what to do. Yet, the network as a whole behaves in a coordinated and intelligent way, a beautiful example of decentralized organization that we are only just beginning to understand. This journey into the world of fungi is more than just a nature documentary. It is an exploration of a different kind of life, a different kind of intelligence. It is a chance to see the world from a completely new perspective. We will uncover their secret lives, their unbelievable powers, and their intimate connections to our own existence. We will venture deep into the soil and high into the canopy, discovering a story of life, death, and rebirth that is more wondrous and mysterious than you could ever imagine. Prepare to be amazed by the hidden kingdom of fungi. When we think of a fungus, what do we picture? Most likely, we see a mushroom, a classic red cap with white spots perhaps, or a humble brown one peeking out from the lawn. For us, this is the fungus. It is the part we notice, the part we can pick up and hold. But this is like judging a grand, ancient apple tree by looking only at a single apple. The mushroom is just the fruit, a fleeting and temporary creation. It is a beautiful, intricate structure designed for one vital purpose: to release the next generation into the world. It is the visible tip of a much larger, much more mysterious iceberg. The true body of the fungus lies hidden, buried deep within its food source. It could be inside a fallen log beneath the forest floor, or even woven into the living roots of a tree. This hidden part is called the mycelium. The mushroom is simply what the mycelium builds when it is ready to reproduce. It gathers its energy, concentrates its resources, and pushes this elaborate structure up into the open air. It is a moment of revelation, a brief emergence from the darkness into the light. The mushroom is a signal, a beautiful advertisement for the vast, unseen network that gave it life. Consider the sheer variety of these fruits. They are nature's ephemeral sculptures, each species with its own unique design. Some, like the destroying angel, are ghostly white and deceptively elegant, a stark warning of their deadly power. Others, like the turkey tail, grow in beautiful fanned-out shelves of iridescent color, painting tree trunks with rainbows. Some glow in the dark, casting an eerie supernatural light on the forest floor at night. These forms are not random. They are perfectly evolved solutions for spreading spores, the microscopic seeds of the fungus, as far and wide as possible. So when you next see a mushroom, pause for a moment. Appreciate its form, its color, its texture, but also let your imagination travel downwards. Picture the hidden world from which it came. See it not as a standalone object, but as the visible expression of a much larger, secret existence. The mushroom is a doorway, an invitation to look deeper. It's a clue that hints at the sprawling, intelligent life that thrives just beneath the surface. A kingdom of threads that silently shapes the world we thought we knew. The real story of the fungus is not in the fruit, but in the sprawling, hidden network below. Let us now journey past the mushroom, down into the soil, into the wood, into the dark. Here we find the true fungus. We find the mycelium. What is this mysterious substance? It is a network of countless tiny gossamer threads. Each individual thread is called a hypha. They are impossibly fine, often just a single cell wide. These threads branch and fuse, weaving themselves into a complex three-dimensional web. This is the body of the fungus, a living lace that permeates its surroundings, exploring and consuming, connecting and communicating. The mycelial network is, honestly, a marvel of biological engineering. It is not solid and static like our own bodies. Instead, it is fluid and dynamic, constantly growing and changing. The hyphal tips are the explorers. They push forward with incredible force, capable of penetrating solid wood or even rock. They are relentless pioneers, searching for food and opportunity. As they advance, they release powerful enzymes into their environment. These enzymes are like an external stomach, breaking down complex materials around them into simple molecules that the mycelium can then absorb as food. This is how a fungus eats. It digests the world first, then ingests it. This method of growth is, well, profoundly different from anything we know. A mycelial network doesn't have a fixed shape. It is a living map of its own history, a record of its explorations and discoveries. Where it finds food, the network becomes dense and strong. Where resources are scarce, it remains thin and exploratory. It can move not by walking, but by growing in one direction and letting its older parts die away in another. The entire network is a search engine, a decentralized system for finding and exploiting resources with remarkable efficiency and precision. Imagine this world of threads. It is a universe of touch. The mycelium is constantly feeling its way through the world, sensing textures, detecting moisture, and tasting chemicals. It is a silent, sprawling consciousness spread out over vast distances. A single network in Oregon was found to cover over 2,000 acres, making it one of the largest living organisms on Earth. All of this immense and ancient being, exists as a delicate web of threads, a hidden kingdom operating on principles so alien, yet so fundamental to the health of our entire planet. In our world, we are used to clear divisions. There is me and there is you, there is the tree and there is the soil. But in the kingdom of fungi, these lines begin to blur and dissolve. The mycelial network challenges our very idea of what an individual is. A single network can be vast, as we've seen, but it can also fuse with other mycelial networks from the same species, sharing cytoplasm, nutrients, and even genetic information. Where does one individual fungus end and another begin? The answer is not always clear. This creates a different kind of self. It is not a contained, separate self like ours. It is a fluid, permeable, and interconnected self. The fungal body is not just in the soil. In a way, it is the soil. Its threads bind soil particles together, creating structure and preventing erosion. They create tiny air pockets and channels for water. The mycelium becomes a living, breathing architecture that transforms a simple collection of dirt and rock into a rich, life-giving medium. The fungus and its environment become one, inextricably woven together in a complex and life-sustaining dance. This lack of boundaries extends to other kingdoms too. Fungi form some of the most intimate partnerships in nature. The most famous of these are the mycorrhizal relationships, an ancient alliance between fungi and plants. Over 90% of all plant species depend on these fungal partners. The mycelium extends far beyond the reach of the plant's roots, acting as a vast, extended root system. The fungus gathers water and scarce nutrients, like phosphorus and nitrogen, and trades them with the plant. In return, the plant gives the fungus sugars, the energy-rich food it makes through photosynthesis. This is not a simple transaction, it is a deep physiological integration. The fungal hyphae don't just grow around the plant roots, they often penetrate deep inside them, creating an interface where two different life forms become functionally one. A tree in the forest is not just a tree, it is a tree-fungus composite. Its life and health are completely dependent on this hidden partner. The fungus, in turn, cannot live without the plant. They are two parts of a single, interconnected being, a living testament to a world where boundaries are meant to be crossed. How does an organism with no brain, no central nervous system make decisions? How does it coordinate its growth across vast distances? The mycelial network may be silent to our ears, but it is humming with information. It is a communication network of incredible sophistication. The fungal body is in a constant state of dialogue with itself and with its environment. It speaks a language not of words, but of chemicals, electrical pulses, and growth patterns. It is a silent, intelligent system that we are only just beginning to decipher. When one part of the network finds a rich food source, it doesn't keep the information to itself. It sends signals back through the hijack threads. These signals can travel in waves, like ripples in a pond, telling other parts of the network where to grow and where to concentrate their resources. Conversely, if a part of the network is damaged or attacked, it can send out warning signals. This allows the rest of the organism to prepare its defenses, perhaps by producing toxic compounds to fight off a threat. It is a decentralized intelligence where every part can both sense and respond. Recent research has even shown that these networks transmit information using electrical impulses, uncannily similar to the neurons in our own brains. Different patterns of electrical spikes seem to correlate with different stimuli, suggesting a complex and structured form of communication. Scientists are exploring whether these electrical signals form a kind of language with a syntax and complexity that could rival our own. The forest floor may be crisscrossed with conversations we cannot hear, a constant flow of data about resources, dangers, and opportunities passing through this living, woodwide web. This communication doesn't just happen within a single fungus. Mycorrhizal networks connect different plants together, even plants of different species. Through their shared fungal partner, a large, well-established tree can share nutrients with a small seedling struggling in the shade. They can also send warning signals. If one tree is attacked by insects, it can send chemical alarms through the mycelial network to its neighbors. The other trees can then ramp up their own chemical defenses before the insects even arrive. The fungus acts as a vast underground communication grid, allowing the entire forest to behave as a single cooperative superorganism. The mycelial network is not just a passive web waiting for things to happen. It is an active hunter, a strategist, and a master of its domain. Fungi have evolved an incredible array of techniques to survive and thrive in the competitive world beneath our feet. Some fungi are aggressive predators. The oyster mushroom, for example, is a carnivore. Its mycelium forms tiny, sticky traps. When a microscopic nematode worm wriggles by and touches one, it becomes instantly paralyzed by a toxin and stuck fast. The hyphae then grow into the worm's body, digesting it from the inside out. Other fungi are master negotiators, playing the field to get the best deal. In their mycorrhizal partnerships with plants, they are not always purely cooperative. Studies have shown that fungi can be selective. They will deliver more nutrients to plants that provide more sugar in return. They can punish cheaters by withholding resources. This creates a complex underground marketplace where different plants and fungi trade, compete, and form strategic alliances. It is a dynamic economy driven by supply and demand, all happening silently in the dark earth. The resilience of these networks is astounding. You can cut a mycelial network into pieces, and each piece can often regrow into a complete new network. It has no vital organs that can be targeted. Its decentralized nature makes it incredibly robust and adaptable. It can navigate complex mazes to find the shortest path to a food source. It can remember the location of past resources and reroute its growth when conditions change. This is a form of memory and learning, achieved without a single neuron. It is a distributed intelligence that is both powerful and profoundly alien. This mastery of the underground has been refined over an immense span of time. Fungi were some of the very first complex life forms to colonize land, more than 1 billion years ago. They were here long before plants, and it was likely their ability to break down rock and create soil that paved the way for all other terrestrial life. They have survived mass extinctions and dramatic shifts in the planet's climate. They are the great survivors, the silent rulers of the hidden kingdom. Their ancient, patient wisdom is written in the very soil we stand on. Fungi possess a power that seems almost magical, a form of alchemy that underpins all life on Earth. They are the undisputed masters of decay. Think of a fallen tree in the forest. Its wood is made of lignin and cellulose, some of the toughest and most complex materials in the natural world. To most organisms, this log is an impenetrable fortress of stored energy. But to a fungus, it is a banquet waiting to be served. Their hyphae, those delicate exploratory threads, release a cocktail of powerful enzymes. These enzymes are molecular keys perfectly shaped to unlock the complex chains of wood, breaking them down into simple, edible sugars. This process is not one of brute force, but of subtle chemical persuasion. It is a quiet and patient dismantling of life's most resilient structures. Without this fungal superpower, our planet would grind to a halt. Forests would become impassable graveyards of dead wood, piling higher and higher with each passing century. The essential elements needed for new life, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, would remain locked away, inaccessible. Fungi are the gatekeepers of this great cycle. They ensure that death is never an end, but merely a transformation. They turn endings into beginnings, releasing trapped nutrients back into the ecosystem so that new life can flourish. This alchemical talent is not limited to wood. Fungi can digest an astonishing variety of substances, from the keratin in fallen feathers and hair to the chitin in the exoskeletons of dead insects. Nothing is truly safe from their enzymatic appetite. They are the planet's great recyclers, the tireless workers who ensure that nothing goes to waste. Every fallen leaf, every shed piece of skin, every dead creature is an opportunity for fungi to perform their sacred duty. They are the bridge between the world of the dead and the world of the living, constantly weaving them together in an eternal, unbroken loop of renewal. So when we see a bracket fungus clinging to a dead stump, or a patch of mold spreading across a fallen fruit, we are witnessing a profound and ancient power. We are seeing the engine of life at work. These organisms are not agents of destruction, but of creation. They are the quiet, often overlooked force that keeps the world fertile and alive. They practice an alchemy so fundamental that without it, the forests would fall silent, the soils would turn barren, and the vibrant tapestry of life as we know it would unravel into dust. The chemical appetite of fungi extends far beyond the natural world. In their billion-year history, they have evolved to break down an incredible diversity of complex molecules. This gives them an almost unbelievable power, the ability to clean up some of our worst messes. Scientists have discovered fungi that can digest some of the most stubborn and toxic pollutants created by human industry. Imagine a patch of soil contaminated with thick, black crude oil from a spill. It seems like a dead zone, a place where life cannot possibly return. But for some fungi, this toxic sludge is just another meal. These remarkable species, like certain types of oyster mushrooms, can thrive in these polluted environments. Their mycelium spreads through the contaminated soil, releasing enzymes that break down the complex hydrocarbons in oil and petroleum products. They sever the long, tough molecules into smaller, simpler, and less harmful components. This process is called mycoremediation. It is a powerful natural solution to man-made problems. The fungi don't just sequester the toxins, they actively dismantle them, transforming a poisoned landscape back into a place where plants and other organisms can once again take root. This superpower isn't limited to oil. Researchers are finding fungi that can digest a shocking array of pollutants. There are species that feast on plastics like polyurethane, one of the most common and persistent forms of plastic waste piling up in our landfills and oceans. Some fungi can absorb and concentrate heavy metals like mercury and lead, removing them from the soil and water. Others can even break down the chemical components of dirty diapers or neutralize nerve gas agents. It seems that for almost any complex organic molecule we can create, there is likely a fungus somewhere that has evolved a way to eat it. This opens up a world of possibilities. What if we could deploy armies of these fungal workers to clean our polluted rivers, restore our industrial wastelands, and even tackle our mountains of plastic waste? We are just beginning to learn how to partner with these incredible organisms to harness their ancient chemical wisdom for the good of the planet. Fungi offer us a glimmer of hope, a powerful reminder that nature often holds the solutions to our biggest challenges. They are the silent, unassuming cleanup crew, ready to help us repair the damage we have done. The power of fungi is not just in what they break down, but also in what they build. Their influence extends to the very geology of our planet. They are silent, patient architects of the earth itself. Long before plants had roots, fungi were pioneering life on land. They were some of the first organisms to leave the oceans and colonize the barren rock of the early continents. How did they survive? Well, they survived by eating stones. Fungi can excrete powerful acids that dissolve rock surfaces, etching into them and extracting mineral nutrients. This is the very first step in the creation of soil. This process, happening over millions of years, transformed the face of the planet. The relentless microscopic action of countless fungal threads slowly, patiently turned sterile rock into the first primitive soils. This created the foothold that allowed for the next great evolutionary leap, the arrival of plants. The soil that fungi helped create was the stage upon which the entire drama of terrestrial life would unfold. Every forest, every grassland, every farm that exists today owes its foundation to the ancient rock-eating labors of the fungal kingdom. They are the true pioneers of our world, even today. This architectural work continues. Mycelial networks are the living mortar that holds our soils together. The fine web of hyphae binds individual particles of sand, silt, and clay into stable aggregates. This structure creates a perfect environment for life. It allows soil to hold water like a sponge, preventing it from simply running off the surface. It creates tiny air pockets, allowing roots and other organisms to breathe. It stops the wind and rain from washing away the precious topsoil. A healthy soil is not just dirt, it is a living matrix, built and maintained by fungi. Without fungi, our soils would crumble, they would become compacted, lifeless dust, easily swept away by the elements. The Dust Bowl of the 1930s in America was, in part, a story of fungal failure. Intensive plowing destroyed the delicate mycelial networks, and the soil lost its structure and blew away. The power of fungi as architects is immense, yet almost completely invisible. They are the humble, hidden engineers that construct the very ground beneath our feet, creating a stable, fertile, and resilient foundation for entire ecosystems to thrive upon. The powers of fungi can take a turn for the strange and even the terrifying. Some fungi have evolved not just to consume the dead, but to manipulate the living. They are master puppeteers capable of hijacking the bodies and minds of insects with chilling precision. The most famous example of this is a group of fungi called Ophiocordyceps. When a spore from this fungus lands on an unsuspecting ant, it's the beginning of a real-life horror story. The spore germinates, and its hyphae begin to grow into the ant's body, avoiding the vital organs at first to keep its host alive. The fungus then begins to produce a cocktail of psychoactive chemicals. It seizes control of the ant's central nervous system. The once purposeful ant begins to behave erratically, abandoning its colony and its duties. It is now a puppet, a zombie ant, under the complete control of its fungal master. The fungus directs the ant to climb a nearby plant stem to a very specific height and orientation, the perfect location for the fungus to reproduce. There, in a final macabre act, The fungus forces the ant to clamp its mandibles onto the underside of a leaf in a death grip. Once the ant is locked in place, the fungus consumes it from the inside, finally killing its host. Then a slender stalk erupts from the back of the ant's head. This is the fruiting body of the cordyceps. From this high perch it releases its spores, which rain down on the unsuspecting ants foraging on the forest floor below, starting the gruesome cycle all over again. This is not random chance. It is a highly evolved and sophisticated strategy. The fungus knows how to pilot an entirely different creature for its own benefit, a truly unbelievable display of biological power. This parasitic puppetry is not unique to ants. Different species of cordyceps specialize in controlling different insects, from moths to beetles to grasshoppers. Each has its own unique method of manipulation, finely tuned to the biology and behavior of its chosen host. This strange and sinister power reveals a darker side of the fungal kingdom. It shows us that their chemical wizardry can be used not just for decay or partnership, but for domination. It is a stark and fascinating reminder that in the intricate web of nature, the lines between life, death, and control can become profoundly and eerily blurred. The fungal power to manipulate brain chemistry is not just reserved for insects. For thousands of years, humans have known that certain mushrooms possess a mysterious ability to alter our own consciousness. These are the psilocybin mushrooms, often called magic mushrooms. When ingested, they can transport the human mind to breathtakingly strange and profound new landscapes. The experience they induce is not a simple intoxication. It can be one of deep introspection, of mystical revelation, and of a powerful sense of connection to the universe and everything in it. The key to this power is a compound called psilocybin. Once inside the body, it is converted to psilocin, a molecule that is remarkably similar in shape to serotonin, a key neurotransmitter that regulates mood, perception, and thought in our brains. Psilocin fits into the serotonin receptors like a master key, temporarily rewiring the brain's communication patterns. It quiets the part of the brain responsible for our sense of self, the ego, while allowing different regions of the brain that don't normally talk to each other to communicate freely. This is what can lead to the dissolving of boundaries and the feeling of oneness with nature. For centuries, these fungi were used by indigenous cultures in sacred rituals as tools for healing, divination, and spiritual exploration. They were seen as gateways to the spirit world, as wise teachers who could offer profound insights into the nature of reality. In the modern world, after decades of being misunderstood and outlawed, science is finally beginning to rediscover their power. Clinical trials are showing that, in controlled therapeutic settings, psilocybin can have remarkable effects. It shows incredible promise in treating severe depression, anxiety in terminally ill patients, addiction, and post-traumatic stress disorder. This is a fungal power that touches the very core of what it means to be human, our consciousness itself. It is not a power of decay or physical construction, but one that can reshape our inner worlds, heal our deepest wounds, and expand our understanding of our own minds. These fungi challenge our definitions of medicine and reality. They remind us that the chemical library of the fungal kingdom contains compounds so powerful they can unlock the doors of perception, offering glimpses into mysteries that lie deep within ourselves. As night falls in certain forests around the world, an eerie and beautiful magic begins to unfold. The forest floor, or perhaps the bark of a decaying tree, begins to emit a soft, ghostly green light. This is not the work of fireflies or some strange mineral. It is the power of bioluminescent fungi. This phenomenon, sometimes called foxfire, is caused by a chemical reaction inside the living Mycelium or its mushroom fruits. It is a cold light produced with remarkable efficiency that transforms the darkened woods into an enchanted otherworldly landscape. The chemical process is similar to the one used by fireflies and deep-sea creatures. A molecule called luciferin reacts with oxygen, catalyzed by an enzyme called luciferase to release energy in the form of light. But why would a fungus, an organism rooted in place, need to glow? The reason has long been a mystery, but scientists now believe it serves several purposes. For mushrooms that glow, the light acts as a beacon in the darkness, attracting nocturnal insects. These insects crawl over the mushroom, get covered in spores, and then fly off to spread them throughout the forest. For the mycelium glowing within rotting wood, the purpose may be different. Some researchers suggest the light could be a warning signal, It might deter nocturnal animals from eating the fungus, signaling that it is toxic or unpalatable. It could also be a simple and beautiful byproduct of the fungus's metabolism as it digests wood. Whatever the reason, the effect is undeniably magical. To walk through a forest illuminated by the silent, steady glow of living fungi is to feel like you've stepped into a fairy tale. This power to create light is one of the most whimsical and awe-inspiring abilities of the fungal kingdom. It is a testament to the incredible diversity of solutions that life can evolve. Fungi can be recyclers, architects, puppeteers, and healers. And here they are, lantern makers. They remind us that the world is filled with hidden wonders, with secret powers that operate all around us, often just beyond the reach of the daylight. The glow of the forest is a quiet invitation to look closer, to appreciate the mystery and the beauty that thrives in the darkness. Our relationship with fungi is not a distant one, confined to the forest floor. It is an intimate and ancient partnership that we renew every single day, often without a second thought. It begins with one of the most fundamental foods in human history, bread. For thousands of years, we have harnessed the power of a single-celled fungus to transform a simple mixture of flour and water into something light, airy, and nourishing. This microscopic ally is yeast, specifically a species called Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which translates to sugar fungus of beer. Its existence is woven into the very fabric of our civilizations. When yeast is mixed into dough, it awakens. It finds itself in a paradise of sugars, the carbohydrates locked within the flour. The yeast begins to feast. As it consumes these sugars, it performs a tiny miraculous process of respiration. It breathes, but without an abundance of oxygen, it breathes differently. It ferments. In this process, the yeast releases tiny bubbles of carbon dioxide gas. These bubbles become trapped within the sticky elastic web of gluten in the dough, forcing it to expand, to rise, to become filled with air and life. This is the magic that leavens our bread. Think about that for a moment. Every airy pocket in a slice of bread is the ghost of a breath taken by a fungus. Every loaf that comes out of the oven, warm and fragrant, is a testament to this incredible partnership. We provide the yeast with a home and a feast. In return, it breathes life into our food, making it more digestible, more delicious, and more substantial. This is not a modern invention. Archaeologists have found evidence of leavened bread dating back to ancient Egypt. Our ancestors captured wild yeasts from the air, nurturing them in sourdough starters, passing them down through generations like a precious family heirloom. This humble fungus has shaped human history. The ability to make bread allowed for the storage of grain, the growth of cities, and the feeding of populations. It is a cornerstone of countless cultures around the globe. So the next time you hold a piece of bread, remember the unseen partner that made it possible. You're holding the result of a collaboration between human hands and fungal power. You are holding a piece of history, a product of an ancient alliance that continues to sustain us, one loaf at a time. The talents of our fungal partners extend far beyond the baker's oven. Their incredible ability to transform substances through fermentation has given us some of the most complex and celebrated flavors in the world. Consider the art of cheese making. The distinct character of many beloved cheeses, from the sharp tang of a blue cheese to the earthy aroma of a camembert, is a gift from the fungi. Molds from the Mycelium genus are the artists responsible for these masterpieces. Mycelium roqueforti creates the iconic blue-green veins in Roquefort cheese, breaking down fats and proteins to create a sharp, pungent, and unforgettable flavor. This controlled process of decay is a delicate dance. The cheesemaker introduces the fungal spores, piercing the cheese to create air channels so the mold can breathe and grow. The fungus then works its magic over weeks or months, its mycelium spreading through the curd, transforming its taste and texture from the inside out. Similarly, the soft white rind of a camembert or brie is actually a carefully cultivated mat of Mycelium camemberti. This fuzzy white fungus ripens the cheese from the outside in, creating that divinely creamy, gooey texture just beneath the surface. Each cheese is a unique ecosystem, a collaboration between milk, bacteria, and a specific fungal artist. This culinary alchemy is not limited to cheese. Many staples of Asian cuisine owe their existence to another fungal master, Aspergillus oryzae, also known as koji. For centuries, this mold has been the key to unlocking the profound savory flavor known as umami. When grown on steamed rice or soybeans, koji releases a torrent of enzymes. These enzymes break down starches into sugars and proteins into amino acids, including the glutamate that gives us that deep, satisfying taste. This process is the foundation for creating soy sauce, miso, and sake. It is a fungal transformation that turns humble beans and grains into pillars of flavor. From the beer and wine that have graced human tables for millennia, to the kombucha and kefir gaining popularity today, fungi are the silent chefs in our kitchens. They are masters of transformation, taking simple ingredients and turning them into foods and drinks with astounding complexity and depth. They prove that what we sometimes call rot or decay can, in the right hands, be an act of profound culinary creation. Our global food culture is a rich tapestry, and so many of its most vibrant threads are spun by our microscopic fungal allies. Our relationship with fungi has not only fed us, it has healed us. It has saved countless lives. This story of healing begins, like many great discoveries, with an accident. In 1928, a Scottish scientist named Alexander Fleming returned to his laboratory after a holiday. He noticed that one of his petri dishes, where he had been growing bacteria, was contaminated with a spot of bluish-green mold. But, this was no ordinary contamination. Around the mold, there was a clear, empty circle. In this zone, the bacteria were dead. Something in the mold was killing them. Fleming was intrigued. He isolated the mold and identified it as a member of the Penicillium genus, a relative of the fungi used to make cheese. He discovered that it was producing a substance that was incredibly effective at killing a wide range of harmful bacteria. He called this substance penicillin. He had stumbled upon the world's first antibiotic. The fungus was producing this chemical weapon for its own purposes, likely to fight off bacterial competitors for food. But for humanity, this fungal weapon would become a miracle cure. For over a decade, the challenge was to produce enough of this mold juice to be useful. It was the immense pressure of World War II that accelerated the research. Scientists in Britain and the United States raced to find ways to grow the mold more efficiently and extract the penicillin in large quantities. They searched for more potent strains, famously finding a particularly productive one on a moldy cantaloupe in a market in Illinois. This massive scientific effort paid off. By 1944, penicillin was being mass-produced, saving thousands of soldiers from dying of infected wounds. The discovery of penicillin changed the course of human history. It ushered in the age of antibiotics and transformed medicine forever. Diseases that were once a death sentence, pneumonia, scarlet fever, gonorrhea, became treatable. Surgeries became dramatically safer, life expectancy soared. It is no exaggeration to say that billions of people alive today owe their existence to this single discovery. It was a profound gift from the fungal kingdom, a secret weapon hidden in a speck of mold, just waiting for a curious mind to uncover its unbelievable power. The discovery of penicillin was only the beginning of our medical partnership with fungi. The fungal kingdom is a vast and largely unexplored chemical library, and scientists continue to find new and powerful medicines hidden within it. The same chemical ingenuity that allows fungi to digest rock or control insects can be harnessed to treat human diseases. Today, a huge range of essential medicines are derived from fungi, and their importance in our pharmacies continues to grow with every new discovery. One of the most significant fungal discoveries after penicillin was cyclosporine. This compound was isolated from a fungus found in a soil sample from Norway. Cyclosporine has a remarkable ability. It suppresses the human immune system. This might sound like a bad thing, but it is the key to making organ transplants possible. Before cyclosporine, the recipient's own immune system would almost always attack and destroy the new organ, a process called rejection. Cyclosporine calms this response, allowing a transplanted heart, kidney, or liver to be accepted by the body. It turned the dream of transplantation into a routine, life-saving procedure. Fungi also gave us the statins, a class of drugs that have revolutionized the treatment of heart disease. These cholesterol-lowering compounds were first discovered in the molds Penicillium citrinum and Aspergillus terreus. They work by blocking a key enzyme in the liver that is responsible for producing cholesterol. By lowering levels of bad cholesterol in the blood, Statins dramatically reduce the risk of heart attacks and strokes. They are now among the most widely prescribed drugs in the world, protecting the cardiovascular health of hundreds of millions of people. The search continues. Researchers are screening thousands of fungal species for new compounds with medicinal properties. They are finding potential anti-cancer drugs, new antiviral agents, and novel antibiotics to fight the growing threat of resistant bacteria. The fungal kingdom, with its millions of yet-to-be-discovered species, represents a massive, untapped resource for future medical breakthroughs. From fighting infections to enabling transplants and protecting our hearts, our fungal partners are some of the most powerful healers we have ever known. Our collaboration with fungi is now moving beyond food and medicine and into the very materials we use to build our world. Innovators and designers are beginning to see the mycelium, the root-like network of the fungus, not just as a biological process, but as a revolutionary new material. Mycelium can be grown on agricultural waste like corn husks or sawdust. In just a few days, it forms a dense, tangled mat of threads, binding the waste material together into a solid mass. This is Myco-fabrication, and its possibilities are honestly astounding. This living material can be grown into almost any shape you can imagine using a mold. Once it has reached the desired density, it is simply dried or baked. This stops its growth and kills the organism, leaving behind a material that is remarkably strong, lightweight, and completely biodegradable. It is also naturally fire-resistant and has excellent insulation properties. Imagine a world where our packaging is not made from plastic or styrofoam, but grown from mycelium. After use, you could simply throw it in your garden, where it would decompose and enrich the soil. The applications are expanding rapidly. Designers are creating beautiful, sound-absorbing acoustic panels, stylish lampshades, and even furniture from mycelium. Architects are experimenting with micro-bricks as a sustainable and insulating building material. Some companies are even developing a leather-like textile grown from mycelium. This mushroom leather has the look and feel of animal leather, but is grown in a matter of weeks with a fraction of the environmental impact. It represents a compassionate and sustainable alternative for the fashion industry. This is a fundamental shift in how we think about manufacturing. Instead of drilling, melting, and molding inert materials with huge inputs of energy, we can partner with the living organism to grow the things we need. It is a regenerative approach, one that turns waste into value and works in harmony with biological cycles. The fungal kingdom is offering us a blueprint for a more sustainable future. A future where our homes, our products, and even our clothes are quite literally alive with fungal ingenuity. Even when we are not consciously using them, fungi are an ever-present part of our daily lives, silent partners in the ecosystems of our own homes. Every time you open a window, microscopic fungal spores drift in on the breeze. They are in the air we breathe, on the surfaces we touch, and in the dust bunnies under the sofa. Our homes are not sterile environments, they are complex microbial landscapes, and fungi are key citizens. For the most part, this cohabitation is entirely peaceful and often goes completely unnoticed. These household fungi play a role similar to their counterparts in the forest, just on a much smaller scale. They are the primary decomposers of the organic dust and debris that accumulates in our living spaces. They break down shed skin cells, tiny food crumbs, and natural fibers in our carpets and furniture. They are part of the invisible cleanup crew that is constantly at work, recycling the microscopic detritus of our daily lives. They are a fundamental, if unseen, part of the domestic ecosystem, a little piece of the wild that we have brought indoors with us. Of course, sometimes this partnership can go wrong. When conditions become too damp, certain fungi can grow out of control, leading to the familiar problem of mold. A leaky pipe or a poorly ventilated bathroom creates the perfect habitat for these fungi to thrive. They are not being malicious, they are simply taking advantage of a good opportunity, doing what they do best, decomposing moist organic material, which unfortunately might be our wallpaper or drywall. This reminds us that our homes are habitats, and we must manage them in a way that encourages a healthy balance. Ultimately, living with fungi is unavoidable. They are our constant invisible companions. From the yeast that leavens our bread to the mold that ripens our cheese, from the life-saving medicines in our cabinets to the unseen spores in the air, our lives are deeply entangled with this hidden kingdom. They are our ancestors' partners and our future's building blocks. understanding our relationship with fungi is to understand a fundamental part of our own story. A story of an ancient and ongoing collaboration that has shaped our health, our culture, and our world in countless ways. Let us return to the forest, but with new eyes. We see the trees, the ferns, the moss, but now we know there is something more, something connecting it all. Beneath the soil lies a living network, a biological internet that links root to root, tree to tree. Scientists have given this network a beautiful and fitting name, the woodwide web. It is a world of fungal threads, a sprawling mycelial system that acts as the forest's central nervous system and its circulatory system all in one. This web is the hidden architecture of the forest community, a secret society of roots and threads, working in silent partnership. This network is not just a collection of individual fungi helping individual trees. It is a vast interconnected grid. A single ancient tree can be connected to hundreds of other trees, both near and far, through this shared fungal infrastructure. This creates pathways for communication and exchange that span the entire forest floor. Information can flow through this web with surprising speed and precision. It is a system built on reciprocity, an ancient alliance between the kingdoms of plants and fungi. The trees, with their access to sunlight, provide the energy. The fungi, with their mastery of the soil, provide the essential minerals and water. Imagine this network in action. Picture the fine, questing tips of the mycelium, exploring the soil with a sensitivity we can barely comprehend. They are miners, seeking out pockets of phosphorus and nitrogen, nutrients that are vital for plant growth but often hard to access. When they find a source, they absorb these minerals and transport them, sometimes over great distances, through their hyphal pipelines. They deliver these precious resources directly to the roots of their partner trees. In exchange, the trees pipe sugars, the product of photosynthesis, back down into the fungal network, feeding the web that sustains them. It is a constant, life-giving trade happening deep in the darkness. This discovery of the woodwide web has fundamentally changed how we understand a forest. It is not a collection of individual trees competing for sunlight and nutrients. It is a complex, collaborative society. It is a superorganism. The trees are not isolated individuals. They are nodes in a living network, constantly sharing, communicating, and supporting one another through their fungal symbionts. This hidden web of life challenges our ideas of individuality and competition, revealing a world built on connection and cooperation, a secret that has been waiting patiently beneath our feet for us to finally understand. Through the intricate pathways of the woodwide web, the forest begins to behave less like a group of separate entities and more like a single intelligent being. The network allows for a level of coordination and communication that is truly mind-boggling. It has a memory, it has a collective wisdom, it can make decisions that benefit the health of the entire community. This is not a fanciful metaphor. It is the reality of how a connected ecosystem functions. The fungal web acts as the brain and the bloodstream of this great woodland organism, sensing and responding to the needs of the whole. Consider the flow of resources. The network is not a simple, passive system of pipes. It is dynamic and responsive. The fungi can act like skilled brokers, redistributing wealth where it is most needed. They can move carbon and nutrients away from trees that have plenty and direct them toward those that are struggling. A small seedling, shaded by the towering canopy above, has little chance of survival on its own. But through the fungal web, it can receive life-sustaining sugars from its larger neighbors. The forest nurtures its young, ensuring the survival of the next generation through this communal support system. This shared consciousness extends to defense. When one tree is attacked by a pest, say a swarm of hungry beetles, it doesn't just suffer in silence. As its leaves are chewed, it releases chemical distress signals into the air, but it also sends them underground. These alarm signals travel through the mycelial network to neighboring trees. Forewarned of the impending danger, the other trees can ramp up their own defenses before the beetles even arrive. They might start producing bitter-tasting compounds in their leaves to make them less palatable. The entire forest can prepare for an attack thanks to the rapid communication enabled by its fungal network. This changes everything. A forest is a community that learns, shares, and protects itself. It demonstrates a form of collective intelligence where the actions of one can benefit the many. The fungal web is the medium for this intelligence, the living conduit that weaves individuals into a cohesive whole. It shows us that cooperation can be a more powerful evolutionary strategy than relentless competition. The forest, through its hidden fungal partner, thinks and acts as one, a vast, interconnected superorganism, breathing, growing and thriving together. At the heart of this forest-wide community are the great elder trees. These are often called mother trees or hub trees. They are the largest and most well-connected individuals in the forest. With their vast root systems and extensive canopies, they are the supernodes of the wood-wide web. They are linked to hundreds of other trees, forming the stable, central hubs of the network. These mother trees are not just dominant competitors. They are the generous matriarchs of the woodland, playing a crucial role in the health and resilience of the entire community through their fungal connections. These elder trees are the primary providers. Having the greatest access to sunlight, they are powerful sugar factories. They produce more than they need for their own survival and send the surplus down into the fungal network. This fungal network then redistributes this life-giving energy throughout the forest. The mother trees actively nurture the young saplings growing in their shade, including their own offspring. They can recognize their kin and will preferentially send more carbon and nutrients to them through the web, giving their own seedlings a better chance at life. This is parental care mediated by fungi. The role of these giving trees becomes even more critical in times of stress. During a drought, a mother tree with deep roots that can still access water can share that water with shallower rooted neighbors through their shared fungal partners. When a tree is dying, it doesn't just hoard its resources. In a final, selfless act, it will often dump its remaining carbon and nutrients into the network, a legacy that will be passed on to the surrounding community to help foster new growth. The forest has a system of inheritance, a way of ensuring that the wisdom and resources of the old are passed on to the young. This understanding of mother trees transforms our view of the forest hierarchy. The biggest trees are not tyrants, hogging all the resources. They are the foundations of the community, the keepers of its stability, and the nurturers of its future. Their immense size and connectivity make them vital for the health of all. This discovery carries a profound lesson for forestry. The common practice of cutting down the largest trees is not just removing timber, it is decapitating the community. It is silencing the elders and severing the vital connections that hold the entire forest together in its intricate web of life. The discovery of the wood-wide web reveals a profound truth about life on Earth. Everything is connected. The fate of the fungus is tied to the fate of the tree. The fate of the tree is tied to the fate of the forest. And the fate of the forest is tied to the health of the entire planet. This intricate web of life engineered by fungi is a model of interdependence. It shows us that no organism is an island. Each one is a thread in a much larger tapestry, and the strength of the tapestry depends on the integrity of every single thread. This web is ancient. The partnership between fungi and plants is one of the oldest and most successful alliances in the history of life, dating back almost 500 million years. It was this partnership that allowed plants to first conquer the harsh, barren land. The fungi acted as their surrogate root systems, mining the rock for sustenance. This symbiotic relationship is not an exception, it is the rule, it is the foundational principle upon which almost all terrestrial ecosystems are built. The world as we know it, with its lush forests and fertile soils, exists because of this primordial pact. But this ancient web is also fragile. Human activities can tear it apart with shocking speed. Deforestation, clear-cutting and intensive agriculture sever these delicate underground connections. Chemical fertilizers and fungicides poison the soil, killing the beneficial fungi and breaking the lines of communication. When the wood-wide web is destroyed, the forest loses its collective intelligence. It becomes a fractured collection of isolated and vulnerable individuals. The soil loses its structure, erosion increases, and the entire ecosystem begins to unravel. We are, in our ignorance, unplugging the life support system of our own planet. Understanding this web of mutual fate is therefore one of the most important ecological lessons of our time. It calls for a new kind of humility and a new sense of responsibility. It asks us to see the world not as a collection of resources to be exploited, but as a complex, interconnected community to which we belong. The silent, hidden kingdom of fungi teaches us that strength lies in connection, resilience lies in diversity, and survival lies in cooperation. The web of life is a powerful and beautiful reality, and its future and ours depends on our willingness to protect it. Our journey through the hidden kingdom of fungi is now drawing to a close. We began with whispers of a secret world beneath our feet, and we have since uncovered a reality far more wondrous and complex than we could have ever imagined. We have seen that fungi are not merely strange growths on a forest floor, but the master architects and engineers of our world. They are the alchemists who turn death into life, the cleanup crew that can digest our most stubborn pollutants, and the puppeteers that can command the living. Their powers are as diverse as they are profound, touching every aspect of life on this planet. We have traveled down into the soil to explore the Mycelium, a body without boundaries that challenges our very definition of an individual. We have listened in on the silent language of the woodwide web, discovering that the forest is not a collection of lonely competitors, but a single, interconnected superorganism that shares, learns, and communicates through its fungal network. This is a world where ancient matriarchs, the mother trees, nurture the next generation, sending wisdom and resources through a living, underground internet. The world beneath our feet is not silent, it is humming with a collective intelligence. This new understanding changes everything. It re-enchants the world. A simple walk in the woods is no longer just a walk in the woods. It's a visit to a complex, communicative society. That mushroom pushing up through the leaf litter is not just a mushroom, it is the fleeting messenger of a vast and ancient being. The soil is not just dirt, it is a living, breathing matrix, a historical record of life's partnerships and struggles. Fungi ask us to see the world not as a collection of separate objects, but as a web of intricate and inseparable relationships. A world of constant transformation and connection. What other secrets does this kingdom hold? We have only just scratched the surface. Millions of fungal species remain undiscovered, each with its own unique chemistry and its own stories to tell. What new medicines, new materials, and new perspectives are waiting for us in the dark? Fungi teach us that the world is far more mysterious and intelligent than we often assume. They are a humbling reminder that some of the greatest forces that shape our planet are the ones we cannot easily see, operating on timescales far grander than our own. So where do we go from here? The greatest lesson the fungal kingdom offers us is a simple one: to look closer, to pay attention. Our journey does not have to end with the conclusion of this story. It can begin the next time you step outside. It is an invitation to shift your gaze downwards, to crouch low to the ground, and to truly see the world that is thriving there. Notice the delicate threads of mycelium clinging to a piece of rotting wood. Admire the strange and beautiful forms of the mushrooms that fruit after a rain. Consider the immense hidden life that your own 2 feet are standing upon. This is a world that asks for our curiosity and our respect. It is a world that we are inextricably a part of, from the yeast in our bread to the medicines that heal us. As we face immense global challenges like climate change, pollution, and biodiversity loss, the fungal kingdom offers us not only solutions but also a different way of thinking. Fungi are masters of resilience, of recycling, and of creating thriving communities based on mutual support. What can we learn from their billion-year history of survival and adaptation? They offer us a blueprint for a more sustainable and interconnected way of living. By understanding these connections, we also understand our own impact more clearly. We see that our actions have consequences that ripple through these hidden networks, that clearing a forest is not just cutting down trees, but destroying a complex society. Protecting fungi and the soils they build becomes one of the most essential acts of conservation we can undertake. It is an act of preserving the very foundation upon which all terrestrial life, including our own, depends. The health of their hidden world is, and always has been, inseparable from the health of ours. So the next time you walk through a forest, a park, or even your own garden, remember the kingdom beneath you. Remember the web of life, the silent language, the unbelievable powers. Let your imagination plunge into the darkness of the soil and marvel at the world of threads that binds everything together. Ask yourself what secrets it holds, what stories is it telling. The wonderful and mysterious world of fungi is all around you, waiting patiently. All you have to do is look down and listen.